So yeah, we can go ahead and get started. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Travis Howell. I'm the marketing manager for HL Flake and International Key Supply, which is also McDonald Dash and H.E. Mitchell Company. And then Brenton Webb is here with us today if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Brenton Webb. I am the access control specialist here at Flake, and I work out of the Houston location. I'm here to help you with all of your access control needs all the time. Give me a call at extension 287.
And then we have Johnny. And Johnny, how do you pronounce your last name? I don't know that I know.
It's Johnny Chemier.
Chemier. See, I would have been way off.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm glad I have a simple first name.
And Johnny is with Cansec, so I guess I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm with Cansec. Hi, everybody. Part of the sales team with Cansec Systems, and we're an access control manufacturer. Thank you so much for your time today.
So I'm going to start by just doing a quick introduction on our companies, just if anyone is not familiar with us and with the basically the family of companies that we have. But for many of you, this will probably be the 20th time that you've seen this presentation. But so we are now 4 different companies that have come together. We've combined forces. It's the HL Flake Security Hardware Company, as well as International Key Supply, McDonald Dash, and H.E. Mitchell. So with those 4 companies, there are 5 locations: Houston, Texas, Portland, Oregon, Memphis, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Florida, and Farmingdale, New York. So we're in the process of bringing all of these companies and all of these locations onto the same, basically on the same accounting system, so that you, the customer, have visibility to the products that are in all of those locations. And we just recently added Portland, or H.E. Mitchell. So really the last one to do is the Farmingdale, New York, and International Key Supply location. So at that point, you'll then have access to all of the hardware and all of the keys, commercial and automotive, and just our broad product offering across all of the locations. And that really is kind of the main differentiator for HL Flake, is just how broad our product offering is. Our business is set up for the locksmith in the products that we stock, and the fact that we're trying to have more branches so that we are closer to more of our customers and able to deliver quickly. And so yeah, the real value that we are bringing, or that we want to bring to you, our customer, is that broad selection of products that are actually in stock, and then we try to be fast. If you order today, we're going to ship it today. And for the Houston warehouse, that means up to 5 p.m. Central. So you order as late as 5 p.m. Central, and we will ship it that same day. And really, it's the same across all of the brands, but just because of the different time zones, if you call Houston 5 Central, it'll leave Houston. But on the East Coast, it's obviously going to be earlier in the day. And then we aim to be reliable. If we say that it's on the shelf, we want you to know that it is actually going to be in your order or in your shipment. So we strive to have a really high fill rate. And then we have a knowledgeable staff, and we have technical support staff, both for access control, commercial, and for automotive. And then we try to be competitively priced to the market. And with the combined companies, we now have a unified freight policy that's just very easy, and it's a low free freight minimum of $100. And then any order under $100 is a flat $9.95. And we did that just to really make it easy for everybody, for the sales staff and for the customers, just to know what the program is and what the cost is. And lastly, I just want to be sure that you are all aware of Brenton Webb and Jamie Frederick. These 2 gentlemen are our access control support team here within the company. Brenton is located here in Houston, and Jamie is at our Jacksonville, Florida branch. And both of these guys have done access control for many, many years. And so you can use them as a resource. I mean, whether it's helping to design a system or even down to just questions about individual components. So feel free to reach out to these gentlemen with any questions that you have. And for all of the online sessions that we're doing, all the online training, anything that's free, which is most of the sessions we're doing are free, they're all going to be available on our YouTube channel after the fact. So right now we're running about a week behind. So we're posting the events from last week, this week. So thank you for being here today. And now I am going to pass it back over to Johnny and let you take over. So thank you.
Yep, thank you. Did you guys want to discuss the Q&A?
Oh, right. Yeah, and just to be sure everybody, because now that everybody is on, we have 30 attendees, please put any questions you have about the material being presented, put it in the Q&A section. And we're going to keep an eye on that, and we will answer as many of them as we can in text. And then in order to keep the flow going, we're not going to interrupt too often, but if Brenton or I can't answer it, then we'll ask Johnny to answer some of the questions. And lastly, there is a drawing today. We're going to be giving away 2 multimeters at the end. So hang on for the very end and we'll do the drawing. So, all right.
Okay. Okay, so once again, thank you very much, everybody. I'm Johnny with Cansec. My email is jc@cansec.com. I'm part of the sales team with Cansec. And what we're going to be doing today is going through a slide of our control panel, our software solution, our cloud solution, embedded web server, and at the same time also showing you demos of each one. So you're going to be able to see what the software looks like and how the solution looks like through here. We've also got our manufacturer reps as well. I think I saw Kevin already in the chat. So these are the territories that they cover in case you want to reach out to them. And I'll leave this up for just a second here. And what we'll do is just so you guys can concentrate on what's going on, I can make this PowerPoint available to anybody who wants it later on so that you don't have to worry about writing anything down. So for anyone not familiar with Cansec, we've been in business since 1987 and we focus on access control. Our products are made in North America. So if you get a power supply or a prox reader from us, those are made in the USA. Controllers, software is made in Canada. I'm based out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And our head office is in Mississauga, also Canada. We pride ourselves in the quality of the products that we make, and that's why we can offer a 5-year warranty on all Cansec manufactured products. We also have something called an OOPS warranty. So to make everybody comfortable with using Cansec products, whenever you buy anything that's Cansec made, so our control panel, for example, you don't need to be nervous with installing it because we're going to have your back. So within 30 days of buying it from HL Flake, we're going to warranty that for anything that happens with the system. So if you wire it incorrectly or if you accidentally drop it, you don't need to worry about that. We're going to cover it. This is the map 1 controller here in the image. We've got 2 control panels, the map 1 and the map 2. The map 1 does up to 4 doors. The map 2 does up to 8 hardwired doors. So in all the pictures, you're going to be seeing the map 1, but just keep in mind there is something called a map 2, which was just recently made available. The great thing with the map, the modular access panel, is that you're able to use it with either a cloud-based system, a server software-based system, or as an embedded web server. And we'll get into more details about that shortly. You're able to get the controller provisioned for the number of doors that you need. So you're able to get it as either a 2, 4, 6, or 8. And that's for hardwired and for wireless locks. If you go hardwired, the map 1 does up to 4 doors, the map 2 does up to 8. If you go with a Perio, the map 1 is going to give you 2 all the way to 8. It is all network based, and that's great because it just makes for everything to be a lot faster when you're doing the programming and getting the audit from it. We support 10,000 transactions in the buffer. So say your communications go down, your network goes down, the last 10,000 transactions will stay in the memory of the controller. The controller supports unlimited facility codes. It supports 100,000 users. We support any bit format up to 64 bits. It's an onboard validation and void of credentials. What that means is, say you give somebody a card, but you don't want their card to work until next week. You're able to give it to them. You can program that into the system. That gets saved in the controller. So even if you lose communication with the controller later on, it's going to keep it in its memory. And the schedules are in 1-minute increments for the map 1. And we have 256 access schedules. This is a quick table here of the bit formats supported. So the very top one, raw format, that's just binary data. What that means is any bit format, if you're doing a takeover of an existing system, we've got you covered in first access and cloud lock. 26-bit standard is supported across the board. So is corporate 1000, 35, and 48-bit. Cansec 37-bit as well. And then we've got a couple of bit formats from our competitors that we also support natively. So the way that our part numbers and pricing structure works, we've tried to make it as simple as possible from when you're ordering. So whether you want to go with a map 1 controller, using it with wireless lock technology, Apereo by ASA Abloy, or if you want to go with a hardwired solution, we've made the part numbers and the pricing very similar. So 2, 4, 6, and 8. And what the XX represent in the part numbers is whether you're using it for Apereo or hardwired, and then if you're using it for the cloud or software or Webster, which is the embedded web server. The great thing with the map controller is that when you get it, you're able to upgrade the door capacity in the field. So if you get a map 1, if you get a 2-door map 1, you are able to upgrade that to a 4-door in the field. You don't need to send anything back. It's a provisioning code that you purchase from HL Flake. All you need to do is give the serial number of that control panel, and it can be done automatically by just plugging it into a network if you've got internet. We can also send you the file, and you're able to flash it if you don't have internet on your local area network. So that makes a very simple and straightforward upgrade. You just plug it in, and you don't really have to do anything. We can convert it from a 2 to a 4 very easily that way. So the map control panel. 1 panel, 3 solutions. So our cloud solution is called Cloud Lock. That's an access control as a service. It's subscription-based, it's browser-based, and it's totally cloud-based, which means that you can access it from anywhere using any web browser. There's no software that you have to use. First access is our client server software system. That's what we call a traditional type of an access control system. That's what a lot of people are used to. You install software and you can only manage your system from the computer where the software is installed. And you can have up to 10 client connections on that. And the third one is Webster, which is our embedded web server. And I like to use that in standalone type of installations. And the way that one works is it's browser-based, but you need to be on the local area network in order to manage it. We're going to first get into CloudLock. Probably my favorite system, I think, just because of how simple it is and how convenient it is to use and manage. So it is a subscription-based system. And it's based on the number of doors that you have on your system. So if you have 5 doors, you pay a subscription for 5 doors. If you've got 20 doors, you pay for 20 doors. The software is always current because any updates that come out, we update the cloud and everybody gets that update. The configuration of the controllers is automatic, so it makes for a very simple installation. And as soon as you plug it in, it's going to automatically connect to the cloud. It's configured that way from the factory. So it's really convenient because you're able to manage your system from anywhere. You don't have to install software, so it makes for a installation which is a lot simpler. You're also able to remotely help your customer. So if they call you and they need help, rather than having to drive out to a site to troubleshoot or to see what the issue is, you're able to remotely log into the system through a web browser. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what CloudLock looks like. Okay, so when you install a CloudLock system, you're going to be connecting the control panel to the network. You're going to have internet connection on your network. You're going to be wiring up your readers just as you've done before. It's a WGAN connection to the reader port, lock relays, all that standard stuff. Then you come in here into the CloudLock website, and when you initiate your subscription, you're going to get a subscriber name. You're going to get the default username and password so that you're able to log into your system and manage it. And you just use a web browser to do this, and any web browser works, whether it's Edge or Chrome or Safari. All of them are supported. Great thing here is that any customers who are using Mac computers, this will work. If you're using Windows, it'll work. Linux, it'll work. So that's one of the benefits here, is that you're not limited to a specific operating system. It's browser-based, and you can use it on your smartphone as well. So when you log in, you're going to see this screen, the event view. Typically, one of the first things that you'll do is you'll click on Panel on the left-hand side, and you're going to click on Add New to add your new control panel. And it's a straightforward process. So this top part here is all you need to fill out. You'd give it a name, and it could be whatever site, or usually some people, what they call the name of the controller is they give it a location name, so that if you ever need to troubleshoot, you know where to find the controller. You put in the MAC address, and that's on a label on the controller. And then you'd put in the serial ID also on the label. And then here you select the board configuration that you've purchased. So whether you purchased a 2-door or a 4-door, this is where you'd select it here. And that's all that's involved. Then you go down to the very bottom and you click on Save. And I'm going to show you an actual controller, which I have, is this one. This is my control panel. When you connect initially with your control panel, it's going to say offline. And within, I would say like within 30 seconds, it should turn to online. And that's how you know that your controller is now associated to your account. The more controllers you have, you just keep adding new here. The next step that you would typically do is you'd click on Reader on the left-hand side, and you add your doors. So I'll add my second door here because I've already got one. And you can give it whatever name that you want. You'd select the panel. I've only got one. Reader ID, it gives you the next available. You're able to select the unlock time. This is when you present a valid card. The door will remain unlocked for this many seconds, allowing you to pull the door open. So if you need more time, you increase that. You have the door held open time. So if somebody opens the door, if you have a door contact on the door, how long that door can be held open before it becomes an alarm. And the pre-alert time is a notification where the reader at the door starts to beep if this many seconds has passed. So in this case, 40 seconds, you're able to keep the door held open for 40 seconds in this case. And then at 40 seconds, it starts to beep to tell you, hey, I'm about to go into alarm, you better close the door. Okay, we are able to then set a relay for that door. So every door has a lock relay and then has a multifunction relay. The multifunction relay is something that you're able to select whatever you want to be. The lock relay is fixed. You're not able to change that. So you're always going to have the lock relay, and then you're going to have a multifunction relay. If you're not using it as anything, you can select as inactive. Otherwise, you can make it an alarm shunt. If you have an alarm system that you want to shunt that contact, you could have a door held open alarm, so that if there's if somebody leaves the door open, you can have something connected there, maybe a loud siren or a light or something. Forced entry alarm. So if somebody breaks in, you're able to have an alarm for that as well. Again, these are all relay. That's a relay. So you're able to connect it to anything that will take that relay. Then we have a door operator. What this does is if you want to connect a push button, a handicap push button onto that, so you'd connect that in series with this, so that then the push button becomes available to push to then go to the automatic door operator to trigger the door to open. And then the last one, handicap operator. This is going to go hand in hand with when I add a user. Because when I add my users, my card holders, I'm able to, at that point in time, designate specific people as requiring, maybe, for example, like requiring the automatic door operator to open for them. So if I select this here, what that's going to do is that multifunction relay will close anytime somebody who's designated as handicapped uses their card. This way, they just have to use the card. They don't have to also push a button to trigger the automatic door operator to open the door. For the options, we have an unlock on RTE. What that means is unlock on request to exit. So if I have a mag lock on the door, the mag lock is holding that door shut, I'm not able to just turn a lever and get out. What that'll do is if there's a request to exit, so like a motion sensor or maybe a push button, it'll be received by the controller when I walk up to the door to de-energize the mag lock. So it's going to unlock the door on request to exit. And then this here, enable pre-alert. That's for this 40 seconds up here that I can change. So you're able to just disable that completely by unchecking it. And then you're able to also select an unlock schedule. So if I want my front entrance, for example, to be open during business hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, so that customers can walk in through the door freely at that time, I'm able to create unlock schedules, and I'll show you that in a minute. And you can associate it to whatever doors that you want. And you also have the option of executing that schedule only after somebody with a valid credential comes through the door. This way, if nobody shows up to work, that door will remain locked. And then you just click save here at the end. Okay, so the next step typically is to add a user. Now, before we add users, we need to do two things. We need to create an access schedule, and then we have to create a profile. So access schedules are just days and times, which I can then associate to doors. That's what we call the profile. So let's just do an example here. I'd already created a 24/7 profile. I'll quickly show you what that one looks like, and then I'll create another one. This is my 24/7 access schedule. So all it is days and times. So you can see I've got all my days covered here, Sunday, Monday, all the way down. 00 to 23:59 signifies a 24/7 schedule for us. So I'm going to create a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 one. So I'll select my day. I'll select the start time. I'll select the end time. This is in 24-hour clock. And a shortcut is to click on this button here, Monday to Friday. And what it does is it just takes your first one here, the Monday, and it just copies it down. And I'll save it. So now I've got my Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So next step is to create a profile. Some other companies call this an access group. We call it profile. It's the same thing. So I had already done one called management, where I'm just assigning the 24/7 profile to all the doors. So let me create another one. I'll call this one office staff. And what you can do here is you're able to then select whatever doors you want to associate to them. So if you want to give them, say I want to give my office staff access only to door 1, I'd click on that. Then I'd click on here on the schedule that I want, and then I click on apply. And you'll see like this changed here to Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And you just do this for all your doors and select whichever schedule that you want to give them access to. And you save it. So once you've done this, a lot of times you're going to have something like a 24/7 schedule, a Monday to Friday 9 to 5. Some businesses, they have cleaners that come in on specific days. Maybe you want to do that as well. So if the cleaners come in twice a week, maybe after hours, you'd give them those days and those times that they're allowed in, and so on and so forth. So then what I'll do is I'll come into my users page here, and you're able to add additional users here by clicking on add new. And if you guys have noticed, I'm pretty much doing the same thing every time. So I click on whichever page I want to go to, and then I click on add new. The top part is always to search for existing stuff. So if I have an existing schedule or I have an existing profile, I have an existing user, that's where I would do it. So add new. Okay, I'll put a name here. For card identifier, in most cases, you can just click create to get a random number. But if a business has like employee numbers or anything like that, you can put that here. You just can't leave it blank in this case. You are able to assign 5 credentials to one user. And you may be wondering why. So I might have a card, a fob. I might have something for my car. Maybe I have a mobile credential. That's why you can have up to 5 credentials per user. You can select the bit format of your card. If you get a Cansec card, okay, that's what it looks like. We print the card number on the bottom of the card, and we always put what format it is. So like this one says 26, so I'm going to select 26 here. And I'll type in the card number that's printed on the card. So here, this card has 63 and ID number 36768. And I just leave the next 2 blank. I don't need to fill these out. These are system fields. So you can see, like, if I put them out, if I click on it, nothing happens because you can't do anything here. These only apply for other bit formats, so raw, weekend. Okay, here I can select my validation date and date. By default, it's valid for 10 years. You can also select the time. Okay, for credential status, you have the ability to set the status of the card. Okay. Select the profile that that person belongs to. You get a preview of that profile. So in case I've forgotten what that profile is, it's door 1, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And you remember earlier how I said you can designate the user as a handicap user? So you're able to do that here. So if I select this as handicap, then that relay, if I've designated it as a handicap relay for the multifunction relay, it'll then trigger just for that user. You're also able to select an unlock privilege for whatever doors that you want. What that does is, you'd only do this for like an owner of the building or a manager. What that allows you to do is, that card now, if you double tap it at the reader, it's going to toggle the state of the lock and leave it in that state. So it's like a maintained toggle. So if it's locked, if I walk up to the door and the door is locked and I double tap it, it's going to unlock and stay unlocked until a schedule kicks in or until I come back to it and do the same thing. So you would only really give that to a manager or to the owner of the building. It's convenient at times, like say there's a holiday coming up and the manager is feeling really nice and tells the employees to go home early for the day. So everybody leaves and then they want to lock the door. Rather than having to go into the access control system to lock that door up, that manager can just go up to the door and present the card twice in a row to relock the door. Okay, and then down at the bottom here, we've got 10 fields that we're able to designate as whatever we want. And you're able to change these names to be whatever you want. So it could be license plate number, it could be phone number, it could be address, it could be department. And then we have a notes section, again, to write whatever you want in there. And that's all that's involved with activating a card. So once I come down to the bottom and I click on save, this is the one that I just made. And if I click on event, I'm going to see everything that's going on here. So if somebody walks up to the door, they go up to the door and they use that door, okay, you're going to see automatically showing up in the access control browser. If you want to remotely unlock a door or lock a door, you're able to do that as well. Okay, you can either do it to all of them by clicking on this button, or you can selectively do that by clicking on whatever door you want and then clicking on the command that you want. And you can see it here in the event view, reader unlocked. And then you're able to relock it. So think of it this way. You go home and you're not sure if, like if say the manager of the building goes home, not sure if they locked the door, if they locked all the doors, they can come in here and check everything and relock the door if they did forget it. So we have some other options here as well. I don't think I won't go through every single one in detail, but I will let you know that we have so these are the unlock schedules to unlock, say, like a front door, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, to allow customers to come in. You're able to create scheduled commands. So you can say, I want a specific door to unlock on Thursday between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. because I've rented a hall out to somebody. So you could do that under scheduled commands. You're able to create holidays so that a user who shouldn't be in the building on a holiday won't be allowed to come in. So even if, say a holiday falls on like a Monday, and that user typically has access on Monday because it's business hours, the holiday will override that so that that specific user can't get in. You can also create a holiday so that a manager can come in on a holiday. So you're able to select what you can do with holidays. Host schedule applies to the system, what schedule it's going to follow, so that if somebody, for example, an operator logs in to the CloudLock system, maybe they're not allowed to log in at that time, you're able to select that. That also applies to email alarms. So if you want to send out alarms, you can maybe you don't care about alarms that happen during business hours, and so what happens is you can specify that you don't want to get those 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You only want after-hour alarms. You are able to generate reports. Okay, we have a lot of reporting options in here. Typical type of report is the history report. You're able to generate a report based on day and time. You can narrow down the date and the time. You're able to select the event. You're able to narrow it down to a specific user and also to a specific door. And then you click on your report, and what it does is the system generates it, and everything's done in the cloud, and then it shows it to you here. The great thing is that you're able to save it. So you can save it as a Excel, a PDF, or a Word document. Okay, and then we have some options down at the bottom for system administration. So you're able to create operator logins, so usernames and passwords of who can come into the system and what they can see and what they can do. So maybe if it's a security guard, you only want them to view the audit transactions. So you only want them to be able to see the event view. You're able to do that. And then all of these other options here will not even show up. They won't be able to select any of them. So you're able to designate what the operator can do when they log in. So all that is done through here. One other thing that I want to point out is if you're on a specific page, like say I'm on a user page and I'm adding a new user, and say like I'm not sure of something, all you need to do is click on help up here. And when you do that, it's going to take you to the help specific to the page that you're on. And it's going to explain everything in here. It's going to tell you what each option is. Okay, it even shows you how our cards are laid out. So facility code, ID number, bit format, and so on. So I'll pause here in case there's any questions that need to be that need to come to me.
I caught 2 questions. There's one more that's out there. Can you use 2 different type of credentials at the same time, such as a 64 and 128-bit credential?
So we support up to 64 bits, but you can have a mixture of different credentials as long as you're in between, you know, like all the way through 64 bits. So you can have a 26-bit plus a corporate 1035-bit, and you can have a Cansec 37-bit. You can have a mixture of bit credentials, of bit formats. The maximum that we support is 64 though, 64 bits. If it's specific to cards that are higher bit formats, like sometimes we get questions about like FIPS cards, we're able to get from HID a reader that'll reduce the bit format to a supported bit format. Okay, but it has to be maximum 64 bits.
The FIPS readers, are those government readers?
Yes.
Shut down. Okay.
Okay. Were there any other questions, Brent?
The other 2 I answered.
Okay.
Dustin asked about more multifunction relays, and I told him the map 10FA would allow for more relays, right?
Yes. So the map controllers, if you're using it as a door controller, each controller has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. 2 inputs for Rex and door contact, and then 2 outputs, lock and multifunction relay. Those are designated per doors. And that's all, like if you're using the cloud version right now, that's all that's supported. But if you need IO, like auxiliary inputs, relay outputs to do all sorts of logic and programming, that's where first access, which is this one that I'm just about to show, that's where we have the ability to do programming of inputs and outputs. And if you go with like the map 1 2-door, you then have 4 additional inputs, 4 additional outputs to program. You can also buy the map 1 as just IO, so no reader support, and it's going to have 8 inputs, 8 outputs. Or you can go with the map 2, which is going to give you all the way up to 16 inputs and 16 outputs. So when I'm talking about inputs and outputs, again, it's auxiliary inputs and outputs. When you're using it as a door controller, every door is always going to have 2 fixed inputs and 2 outputs. So 2 inputs being rex, request to exit, and or contact, and then the output being lock relay and multifunction relay. And the relays you can designate as either normally open or normally closed.
Okay. There was one more, I answered,
Yes.
but I'll just run it by you. So what
Yes.
if the last person leaves early, and there's a 9 to 5 time frame? How does the system lock? And I told them that it would normally lock at 5.
Yes.
But the administrator can make changes to the
Correct.
time schedule if required.
Yes. So you can either go into the system, okay, and relock the door, or if you've designated the card to give you that privilege of the double tap that I had mentioned earlier, that user can then double tap their card to lock the door.
Got it.
Okay. And if they forgot, then the schedule is the only thing that's going to lock the door.
Unless you check it from home, or
Yes.
if you're on the cloud.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our cloud solution. Cloud Lock is great for that. You can be at home, you can check on your system. It's really good for small, medium-sized businesses because those typically don't have an IT person on site. So you don't have to worry about backing up the system. You don't have to worry about software updates. You don't have to worry about the server crashing and now you have to rebuild your database and maybe you forgot to take a backup and it's just going to be hectic. So Cloud Lock helps with that because everything is maintained and administered by Cansec. We back everything up, and anytime there's a software update, we take care of it. And best of all, like there's no software to have to worry about. So you could check on your Cloud Lock system from your phone, or you could be on a laptop.
Okay. There's 2 more questions that came in. Is there a cloud demo available for dealers to log in and explore?
Yes. So it's actually, I can give it to you now, but it's the last page of my presentation where I'm going to be putting it up with all the demo logins.
Okay.
And I will have this as a PDF that people can get.
Okay. Next one is if I want someone to have only access to one specific reader or relay output in a 24-hour time, example, if customer scans their fob, gains access to the relay output, the customer cannot use that reader for 24 hours. However, they can still access other readers or doors.
So like this is a limited time use application, which is not supported.
Got it.
Okay. Now, when something is not supported, it doesn't mean that it'll never be supported. What it means is it's just not supported now. So a lot of times when a project depends on a specific feature that we don't have, we are willing to listen and take feedback and add customization to our software if something is needed.
Okay. So that cancels that question. And so for dealer to remote manage, are they added as ordinary operator, or can the end user wipe out the dealer login? No, if you set it up right.
Right, exactly. So it depends on how you set it up. If you've let them do that.
Yeah. So Bob, you just set it up where the dealer, if you don't want them to have access to wipe, to be able to make changes to admin, You just don't give them access to the admin privileges. Don't give them admin privileges. And that is the last question right now.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to move on to First Access, which is our client server software system. So with this one, instead of being on the cloud, being browser-based, this is software-based, so you need a Windows machine to do this. Okay, currently we have two versions of the software. One that supports 5,000 users and one that supports 100,000 users. The version that supports 5,000 users is a free download off of our website. So for anybody who wants to try it, you're able to download it from our website and give it a try. We support up to 1,024 readers. It's a client-server architecture, so you need to have a machine dedicated as the first access server, and then you have computers on the network, which are the clients. The software does automatically discover the map1 controllers. So what it does is it scans the network and it looks for the controllers, and it can automatically find them, and this way when you go to add them, you're able to just use a pull-down menu to select your control panels. We use an Sql database here. It's a very useful thing because an end user that has IT staff who's comfortable with SQL can, if they want to, they can access the database, they can take audit information, they can write their own script. Maybe they want to do something like an attendance report or payroll. They're able to use that information and do that if they wanted to. So it gives a flexibility to that. We have email notifications, so similar to the cloud solution. And at the bottom, so the free version of First Access is called First Access Express. That one comes with 2 client connections. And the paid version, First Access Advanced, supports currently 10 clients. Okay, and we are currently working on a 20 client version. The picture on the right-hand side shows you like what a typical type of what a typical system looks like. So we've got the server right here. Then on the network, we have the different control panels, then hardwired to the doors. And then on the same network, we've got the client connections. So people using the system to administer it. So there's no static IP addresses to assign here, but if you want to, we do give you the option to assign a static IP address with First Access. There's no firewall configuration, there's no port forwarding. Cloud lock panels are connected automatically, and First Access connected panels are automatically, they automatically acquire a dynamic IP address. And training is not required. And so what I'm going to do now is show you what First Access looks like. Okay, so here's the First Access software. In addition to the software, we also have a utility called map1 IP configuration. And let me show that one to you first. So this is what the map1 IP configuration looks like. So when you start up this configuration tool, it automatically knows like which IP address you're on, which subnet. You click on scan, and what it does is it scans your network looking for control panels. And on my network, I've got 2 control panels here. It found them, it already found them. So it's going to give me the IP address of that panel. It's going to give me the MAC address, the serial ID, and firmware information about the panel. If I wanted to set a static IP address, I can do that here by clicking on the control panel and by configuring it. Okay, you are able to set static IP addresses if you want to. The simplest way is to just leave it the way it is and let it, if it's on a DHCP network, it'll automatically obtain an IP address. So I'll go back to the software. Okay, so now that we're in the access control software, in the first access software, this is what it looks like. You are able to go into the properties. You can specify the first access server IP address. This is so that a client connection, so like a computer on the network, knows where the first access server is. That's how it'll know, by pointing it to the appropriate IP address and port. If you're installing the first access software on the same computer where the first access server is, by default it finds it, it puts it here. That's what I have here on my laptop. We have an enrollment scanner option. You're able to buy a USB reader, plug it in here, and this way when you go to add a card, you don't have to type in the number, you just present the card to that USB reader. We have an option for retention of history. You're able to use the slider to increase how much audit you want to keep. The default is 3 months, but you can change that. What we find is that, and this is like a general thought here. We find that when something happens, it's usually like within a matter of days. So if there's a break-in, if there's something got missing, it's within like a matter of days that people find out. And so they don't go far back. But if you have a server with a hard drive capacity that allows for it, you're able to retain more data. You can set the daylight standards time in here so that the panel will automatically adjust for that even if the server is disconnected. You're able to select the date format, day, month, year, year, month, day. You can set up your email server here in case of an alarm. You can have an email generated, so you set that up here. Your holidays, this is where you tell it which set to use. And in the advanced version, we support Active Directory as well. Okay, the next step is usually to click on Device or Devices, and then click on Manage. So you're going to see here the title, Controllers, Readers, Inputs, Outputs. So these are the groups here of what each one does. So in my controllers, if I click on Manage, I can add a new controller. Okay, you give it a name here. You can select whether the IP address is a static IP address, or if you want to use or if you've got a dynamic IP address, you can put that here as well. So the dynamic one, you would be using the IP configuration tool to do that. Okay. You can select the MAC address from here. So this will search, just like I showed you a second ago, it searches your network and it gives you a drop down of the MAC addresses of the panels that it found. You're able to select the type of controller you have, and you see here we have more options because the IO is supported in here. So we've got the map 1, and then we have the map 2. Map 1 and Map 2 are the same, just the Map 2 is a bigger control panel. It supports up to 8 doors. The Map 2 also supports elevator control. So if you have a building with elevator control, you're able to select that up to 64 floors. Okay, and then here you'd click on readers on the left-hand side and you start adding your readers to this. So I'm not going to go through every option here in detail because it's similar to what we did in the cloud solution, but you're going to see all the options are here as well that we showed before. You're going to see more options actually. So let me cover those ones. So enable all cards access. Think of it like a construction site. You don't want to have to go in and add cards during a construction phase. So you'll just enable all cards. And then when the building is occupied, then you'll disable this and actually program the cards for the tenants who are now moved into the building. You select the multifunction relay type here, same as before. This system first access supports card and PIN, so dual authentication, so two-factor authentication. So you can use it as just card only or keypad only or a combination of both. So you have to present a card and type in a PIN on the keypad. That requires the combination reader. And then you have some other options down here as well for if you want to bypass the PIN on a schedule and so on. Unlock schedule, same as what we did before. If I want that door unlocked Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, I can select that. You have to make it. And then if we go under the advanced options, we have anti-passback here. And anti-passback is part of the advanced version of the software. We have timed anti-passback. So a card is used, but you don't want that card to be used again at that reader between 2 and 60 minutes. So between 2 minutes and 1 hour, you're able to select that here and how many minutes you want, so that if a card is used at a reader, it can't be used again. So some applications for that is a parking application. So car goes in, you don't want that person giving the card to the person behind them. Here it's up to 60 minutes. Okay, if people are parking for a long time, then what you'll want to do is zone anti-passback. Okay, with zone anti-passback, you need to have entry and exit readers so that when that person enters the parking, okay, they're going to be entered into a zone, and then when they exit, they drop back to a zone so that they can come back in. Soft anti-passback is for when you first initiate anti-passback. Like you'll do a soft anti-passback, so to still allow people through, but you'll get it as alarms in the audit trail so that you can then speak to those people and let them know, hey, we're going to be enabling anti-passback soon, and we've noticed that that you haven't been following the rules. So it's really a way to just still let people through the door, but get it as a as an audit report. Okay, so just to explain the zone-based one first. So in this one, like if you're entering, you can have it set as 1. And then the 2 zone is, you can change it to 2. And then when the person exits, it reverts it back from 2 to 1 so that the person can come back through the door. Okay, so the reader is initially zone 1. When that person goes through, now their card is designated as zone 2, so that they can go in to doors which are assigned as zone 2. So the exit reader, you would put it in as zone 2 here, and then zone 1 here. So it's going to move them back down to zone 1 so that they can come back through the door. Keep in mind that zone anti-passback and time anti-passback. So time anti-passback works specific to that reader. Zone anti-passback works specific to the controller. You can't have like one zone on one controller affect the zone on a different controller, because everything that we've done with our system, we did it in a way where we still want it to work even if we lose the network connection. So everything is controller based. And it's up to 8 because the map 2 has up to 8 doors. Okay, and then we have our inputs and outputs, and these are auxiliary inputs and outputs. So for example, an auxiliary input and output could be that on an access granted on the front entrance, I want to trigger an output to turn lights on. In addition to the usual unlocking of the door, I want lights to come on and do certain things. You're able to do that with the outputs. So you could connect this output to maybe like the lighting system so that it knows that somebody came in. That's just one example. There's like many applications for I/O. Okay, and I'll show you my current system here. So this is my live demo system. I've got a 4-door system here. So one of the things that sometimes I think confuses people is when I select 4-door, no input, no output. Keep in mind the no input, no output is talking about auxiliary inputs and outputs. So additional I/O in addition to the doors. The doors always have 2 inputs and 2 outputs. And then I'll show you my readers here. I've got the 1 reader, the 2nd reader here by clicking on this arrow, the 3rd, and the 4th. And you can see them here on the left-hand side. Once I've saved it, they're all here on the left-hand side. With this system, if you ever want to set the time, like if you find that your timing here is not correct, and what you'll do is make sure that the time in your Windows, the bottom right-hand corner of Windows is correct. And then all you need to do is click on Set Time. You're able to also do a download. If you want to download to that controller, if you found that the database is corrupt, you can do that here by clicking on this and then clicking OK. So we have the scheduled commands like before with the triggers. We can remotely unlock doors. Okay, you get the event here showing up. You're able to relock doors. You're able to lock out. So say there's a chemical spill in the storage room, and we don't want anybody going in there. We're able to lock out that storage room. What that does is even if somebody has a card which has access to that storage room, they won't be able to get in because we don't want anybody going in there. So lockout and lockdown are very similar in terms of what they do. You're able to lock down, or lock out by just, selecting all your doors and locking everything out. The only thing that you need to be careful with lockdown is an access control system relies on a network to do all this stuff. if your network is down, you don't want to have life safety concerns relying on your network. So really, like, what I recommend is if you ever have a system where you need to do lockdown, do it in a hardwired fashion as you would a fire alarm connecting to maglocks, and you need to unlock all those doors. So do it the same way. So I would hardwire that. Okay, and then for our I/O, we're able to shunt and to trigger our outputs from here as well. Okay, under the Access tab, this is where we're able to add things like access schedules, profiles, users, operators, and elevators, if I have elevator control. It's similar to the CloudLock version. Okay, now here they're grouped all together. So access schedules for the cardholders, unlock schedules if you want to have your doors unlock specific doors, like your front entrance unlock on a schedule, you can set that up here. So I'll quickly go through this because we already did that. So you would just select the next available one, you'd give it a name. You'd select the days here, time, okay, now I'm not going to save that because I already have a Monday to Friday 9 to 5, but that's an example of how you would do that. So you just create your schedules here, and the same as CloudLock, you'd then go to profiles and you'd click on new. You'd give it a name, you select whichever doors those people can get through. And then you'd select the appropriate schedule, you click on apply, and you can see that it took effect right here. You can select different schedules. So like if I want them to have access to the storage room 12 to 1, you can select that here, and you can see you can have a mixture of different schedules. And if you make a mistake, you just fix it that way. I already have that one, so I'm not going to, I'll cancel out of it. So I already have managers and office staff already in my system. And the next step, like same as CloudLock, you'd go into the users here, and you'd add a new user. Same thing as before. So you give it a name. You could have here, because we support the keypad pins, you're able to select the pin that you want. You can select if the user is handicapped. I have the First Access Advanced version on my computer. You're able to also import a photo for photo pop-up, so that when that person uses the reader, their picture will show up as well. And this way, it's to match like the person who's coming in. If you have a security guard at the door, sitting at the door, they're able to monitor to make sure the picture matches the person walking in. So a lot of health clubs will use that to make sure that you didn't give your card to somebody else. Same as before, you select the credential, you got up to 5. Put in the number. You specify the start date, the end date. Change this to active. Give the appropriate profile. We also have the fields here that you can rename in the settings. We have a notes section and a privilege. The privilege here is that double tapping, the same as what we did in CloudLock. If the person has privileges for these doors, and again, you'd only give the privilege to like a manager or to the owner of the building, if that person goes up to that reader and presents the card twice in a row, they can unlock the door and leave it unlocked. Same with relocking. If you're done for the day early, you go to that reader, you tap it twice in a row, and you've relocked the door. So you need to be careful with that. Okay, so once we've added our card holders into the system, we've created all our schedules and everything else, okay, you're able to try the system out. And you do get the audit showing up right away in the system. Just like in CloudLock, you're able to also set here the operators who log in. You're also able to set what they can do, what they can access, and that's done here under operators. Okay. It's a very straightforward process. You'd give it a name, maybe like security guards. And then you just uncheck anything that you don't want them to have access to, you just uncheck. And this all corresponds to all the options that you're seeing here. And then panels, all that stuff. So if you don't want them to be able to access the panels, access the readers, so if you remove access, then they won't be able to remotely unlock doors. So you are able to specify all of that, all the access permissions here. And then after you do that, you can save it, and then you can add operators. And then when they log in, they would put in their username and password. It depends on who's logging in. That's what they have access to. Okay, and then we do have reporting functionality here. Okay, there's a couple of different reports that you can generate. One is just a standard report. So if you want to have like all the users, you can do that here. And you can sort it by whatever you want in terms of first name, last name, profile, or ID number. And then you're able to create a history report as well. You can specify the time or the day and time. Just click on that. Click whatever date you want, whatever time that you want down here at the bottom. Okay. You're able to filter that by user. So if you want to run a report for everybody, you just leave it the way it is. But if you want to focus on a specific person, you are able to put that here. So if you want to see like what time I came to work every day, you're able to put that in there. You can also filter by device, which means you're filtering by reader. So if I want to see like what time Johnny went through the front entrance every day, you can do that here by selecting this option. You'd have to put in the name. And then you're able to also select the specific event that you care for, whether it's all events or the specific ones like access granted events. So to narrow it down. And then you just click on run. And when you do that, so for all events, you're going to get everything. It's going to be a big report. But if you're focusing on access granted events, you do that. It's going to show you just those events that you've selected here based on the date and time that you've set. Okay, and then you're able to save the report if you want by clicking on File. And if you're done with it, you're able to just close it and go back to the event view. So just like with CloudLock, you can, there's many ways of doing stuff. With CloudLock and with First Access, if you want to add a card and the card is not in your system, you are able to just present the card at the reader. Bear with me 1 second while I do that. Okay, so it shows up in the system as access denied, not in database, and it gives you the credential number right here. So a shortcut to add it into the system, and this applies in both CloudLock and First Access. In CloudLock, you just double tap on it. Here you right click on it. So in CloudLock, you double tap, and that works in the web browser as well. You just double tap on the event. Here you right click on it. You put in the name. And when I click on ID, you're going to see it came up automatically. So it typed it in for me. I don't have to worry about making a mistake. So it's a bit of a shortcut with adding credentials. So what I'm going to do now is pause the presentation, pause this, and see if there's any questions about First Access.
As of right now, we don't have any questions that came in since the last one answered.
Okay. Hopefully everybody is still awake.
Yeah. If anybody would like to actually ask a question live with their mic, you can raise hand. We could do it that way too if anybody has a question. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Glenn says it's fairly easy to follow. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the third system is Webster. I like to think of Webster, so it's an embedded web server type of a system. I like to think of it as putting it in where a standalone system would typically go. So what an embedded web server means is that everything is built into the controller in terms of the storage of the database, all the card holders, everything is stored in the controller. There is no computer database. There's no computer database, there's no server, there's no cloud. It's managed through a web browser, but you need to be on that same network. So it's not like CloudLock, where CloudLock you can be anywhere in the world because the cloud is accessible from anywhere. Here, you're actually having to put in the IP address of the controller. So you need to be on the same network. So here, for example, the controller is on the network, and then to manage the system, you put in the IP address of the controller in a web browser. It could be on a computer, on a laptop, on a smartphone. And this one on the map 1 is up to 4 readers, on the map 2 is up to 8. So there's no software to install. It's built-in web server. All the management is done from a web browser. And it's a very simple system to put in. It's just that when you put this in, the system administrator, the end user, needs to make sure that that they back up the system. Because if something happens, you know, like if they get like a power surge, something happens to the memory on the controller, if you don't have a backup, you have to basically rebuild your database. So it does have the benefits of simplicity, but the person managing the system really should know how to take care of the system so they can back it up and maintain it. And let me show you quickly what that looks like. This is the user interface of Webster. And again, keep in mind, it's meant to be very simple access control system. If you're looking for all the bells and whistles, then you should be looking at First Access and Cloud Lock. Okay, when you log in, you're going to see all your doors here. You've got the options on the top for users, schedules, profiles, unlock schedules, holidays, and history. So if I want to say unlock a door, I click on the specific door that I want, and I can select momentary unlock or a maintained unlock. Okay. So when I mentioned before that you have to make sure that you maintain the system, you'd click on the options here. You come to System Management, and you come to Backup and Restore. It's a very simple process, and you click on Backup Webster Database. And what that's going to do is it's just going to download the database to your computer. So it's a very simple process, just having the people do that. It's not automatic, so people will have to manually do this sort of thing. So it's ideal for places where maybe there's no internet connection. Okay, they're just looking for a simple standalone type of a system. They don't need all the options and bells and whistles. They don't need remote management of the system. Then Webster would be an ideal solution for that. Okay, so do we have any questions on Webster before I move on to the Apereo integration? And we don't have much left, by the way.
Nothing came in.
Okay. Okay, so the Apereo integration is one that we've done with Assa Abloy. That's for wireless battery operated lock sets. So for applications where it's either too challenging to pull cable or it's a retrofit, you can't, you don't want to be messing with walls and anything like that. It makes for a simpler installation. So we do support up to 4 hubs on one controller and a maximum of 8 locks per control panel. And they do have different lock types. We don't sell the locks, we don't sell the hub. That would have to come from wherever you buy your Apereo product. Okay, this is what our proximity reader looks like. Reads HID, AWID type of proximity. You can see the left one here is a mullion. This one is the single gang. Okay, you don't have to buy them as mullion or single gang. You get that adapter plate with it no matter what, whether you use it or not. It's for indoor, outdoor applications, got a lifetime warranty on it. This is the reader that typically comes as part of a kit. We do have other readers as well. So whether you want keypad, prox keypad, or something like this, which is the long range receiver transmitter, ideal for gates, ideal for overhead doors. So we do offer this as well. And then we have something called Kindu, which is our smartphone Bluetooth reader. And so this works on your smartphone. So rather than having to carry a key fob or carry a card, your phone is your credential. Okay, you're able to use it with existing readers. So if you're doing like an upgrade of an existing system, all you need to do is you pull the existing WeGAN reader off the wall. You make the connections in parallel with the existing WeGAN reader, and then you bury this KIN-W, this device, in the wall. It's a very small device. I think it's like 1.5 inches. It's a very small device, and because Bluetooth, we don't need to see it. It can go behind drywall and the frame of the door. And it works with the Kindu app on iOS and Android. It does use Bluetooth Low Energy, so the smartphone has to have that. Typically, I think it's iPhone 4 and up has Bluetooth Low Energy, I believe. And then with Android phones, all of the high-end ones have it, and then medium, like it really depends on the manufacturer. With Kindu, you do buy the credentials. Okay. So the end user system administrator would purchase the credentials, and then you as the installing dealer automatically get a cut from every time they purchase a credential. And what that does is it just speeds things up. So rather than having to submit a PO and wait for the PO to come through, and there's lead times and whatever else, the system admin can automatically get the digital credentials, assign them to the users, and they only have to select the facility code and ID number when they're assigning to the specific user. We also have a dealer portal where you can log in and track to see who's purchased credentials and how much revenue you've earned. This is what it looks like. So I'm going to show you what Kindu looks like. And just give me 1 second to do that. I'm going to quickly show you the a very simple example of wiring of the reader, of the Kindu reader, with a prox reader. Okay, so this is the Kindu reader here. You would just wire it in parallel with an existing reader. You don't need to pull a new WeGAN cable for it. Okay, it's using the green, the white, the black, and the red. We don't need a beeper or LED wire for it, and the shield. And let me now show you the Kindu app. Okay, so this is the Kindu app. Okay, if I have the app launched, I'm gonna see the doors that I'm standing next to. So if I don't have any doors that are near me, I'm not gonna see them. So if a system has like hundreds of doors, you're not gonna be bombarded with hundreds of doors on your phone screen. You're just gonna see the ones you're standing next to. And you only see the doors for systems that you belong to as well. So that's an added encryption level for the system. So you walk up to a door, you open the Kindu app. This is what you're going to see. You're able to select the door that you want by just clicking on the open button. You're able to customize the logo as well to put your logo on here, and the end user can put their logo in there as well. So let me do that again. So I walk up to the door, I select the door that I want, and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that beep is coming from the access controller. If I click on the home button, I'm going to see all of the controllers that I have on my system. If I click on one, if I click on KINs, those are all the Bluetooth readers that I have. So these are all the ones that are in my system, but again, I'm only going to see the ones that I'm standing next to when I'm on that other screen that I was in before. You're able to adjust certain settings. You can name the door whatever you want. You're able to turn on the beeper or turn it off. I like to have it on just so the person who's at the door knows that it was successfully received by the reader. You have the option of automatic within threshold. That means that if I approach the door, I'm able to adjust the distance, like the threshold, the distance where my credential will automatically go to the door. I don't have to physically press on open, but the app does have to be opened up. So for example, if I've set it where within like 6 feet of the door, my credential will automatically be sent to the reader. Then what's going to happen is if I walk up to the door, I just launch the Kindu app, and then I don't need to do anything once it's launched. I just keep walking and the door will unlock for me. Then the third option there is accept manual commands. This is so that I have that option to manually click open on the screen. Clicking open on the screen lets you do that from any range. So I could be, as long as I can see the Bluetooth range, then I can trigger it. If I want to add a user to the system, I want to give them a digital card. What I'll do is I'll click on Manage Cards. Okay, we have the option of either 26-bit or Cansec 37, depending on how it's set up, depending on what they've purchased. You can click on Allocate, which is right there. So if you click on that, it takes you to this page. And then you put in whatever facility code and ID number you want. You're making up your own. Otherwise, if you want, you can match an existing card if you want to do that. I prefer creating a unique code for the digital ID. And then you put in the email address of that user. Once you do that, you click on confirm. What it's going to do is the system will then invite that person to Kindu. So if they don't already have a registered login credential, it's going to invite them to register for it. And then once they've registered and they've verified their email address and they've downloaded the app, it's going to assign this facility code and card number to that person. So it's a fairly straightforward, streamlined process for the user. The system admin needs to know how to do this. Okay, You can click on allocated to see all of the cards that you've assigned to people. And only the system admin, by the way, can see all this stuff. Any revoked cards. And then if you want to see your own card, you just click on View My Card. In case you're not sure like what to add into the system. So my card here is facility code 80, card number 125. So when I'm in the first access software or the cloud lock or any other system that takes a 26-bit WeGAND signal, that's what I'm going to be using to add this user. Facility code is 80, the card is 125, and that's the one that I've assigned. Okay, the admin can also view invoices for any credentials they've purchased, and they can also go into the settings and do things like edit the name, select the WeGAN format. So right now, again, like I said, we support 26-bit and Cansec 37-bit. We have the option to allow cards to transfer. So if a user gets a new phone, we don't make you buy the digital credential again. The system admin can control this. They can either never allow the digital credential to be transferred. Okay, in that case, you do have to buy it, but again, it's for the system admin to determine that. We have the option to notify the admin by email about the transfer and only allow it if the admin gets the email and clicks on allow. Or the third option is to always allow the transfer. So if somebody upgrades their phone, they get a new phone, they're able to transfer the credential to the new phone. Okay, for this to work, if you want to transfer the exact same credential, so the same facility code, the same ID, the user has to first log out of their old phone. Obviously, you can't do that if you've lost your phone, or if you've broken it, you can't use it. So we still allow you to reissue a credential to a user that's in the system. But in that case, you have to issue them a new credential number because we don't know, maybe somebody finds the phone, or where there's no way really for us to delete the credential from the old phone. So we don't want you to have that risk of having the same credential on multiple phones. Okay, but we do give that option to you. The system admin can choose. There's no charge to that. It's really depending on if they want it or not. Okay, so again, to show you this screen again, this is where you see all the doors that you're standing next to. You can select the one that you want. The other option is to walk up to the door. So I've got both of my doors right now set up so that if I get in within half a foot, it'll automatically send my credential to the reader. And here's what you're going to do. Look up here at this green dot. The green dot means that it sees the readers, but what you're going to see is as I get closer, you're going to start seeing like a pie filling up. So like more slices filling up. So have a look up there as I get closer to my reader. I'm going to do it again. It's a visual indication just to let you know, okay, you're getting closer and closer and closer, and then it does it.
And the app has to be open, right?
That is correct. The app has to be opened. If the app is closed, it's not going to do anything. So the app has to be opened here. Because we don't want, so there's a few reasons for that. We don't want the battery to drain, constantly scanning for Bluetooth and trying to do that. The other thing is we implement a lot of security features into the app so that if somebody, for example, wanted to try to clone the Bluetooth signal, we implement rolling encryption as well so that every time it's going to be different. And for all of the stuff that we've done, the app has to be opened for it to work. You also don't want to be accidentally unlocking a door if you're just walking by it. Okay, so so the app has to be opened, and now once the app is open, like in my case right now, I've got it open right here. We have the app programmed in a way where the screen will not time out if the app is open. So if, say you're carrying a box and you want to just walk up to the door, all you need to do is launch the app, have the screen on, launch the app, and put the phone in your pocket just the way it is. The screen will not time out, and so what you're able to do is pick up whatever you need to, walk to the door, and as you approach it, if you've got that option enabled for automatic, it's going to automatically do it as you get to the door. Okay, but just remember to close the app when you're done with it. Any questions?
None.
Okay. So the Kindu app is like, it's a convenience thing. So think of it that way. It's convenient and it's secure as well. So like I was saying, we do implement the rolling encryption. There's that in place. So for any sites where higher level of security is needed, if there's a concern that cards are getting cloned, copied, with this, you won't have to worry about it. Also, with a card, there's a lot of sharing that happens with a card. Like I'll give the card to somebody, they can get in through the door. We have a health club that migrated from physical credentials to Kindu for that reason, because they didn't want to have to worry about that. And so they've implemented Kindu. So now when, or before this whole COVID thing happened, when people were going to health clubs, they were getting in with the Kindu app. So it's really good for that, for security, for places where you're concerned that cards are being given to people who shouldn't have them. No one's going to give their phone to a friend, or very few people will do that. The other thing is it's a security thing, and aside from the security thing, if you forgot your card at home and you're going to work, you show up at the office and you're like, oh darn, I forgot my card, I can't get in through the door. Well, your phone can be your backup, so you can get in through the door using your smartphone. So it prevents lost time, like having to go to security, having them issue a temporary card and all that stuff. It just makes things a lot faster. And some people like it for the cool factor. It's high tech, simple to use. Okay.
Are the gyms opening back up in Canada anytime soon?
There's no word about that.
Oh.
I don't think so.
What has opened up there?
What has opened up?
I mean, I'm just wondering, like
there's I think some construction has opened up, because previously it was just like residential and then municipal construction that was opened up. But a lot of stuff are still closed, like malls are closed, restaurants, you can't go to a restaurant. But I mean, I'm sure that soon things are going to be changing. But even with that said, I mean, I think a lot of people will feel a little uncomfortable going back to that, especially something like a health club where you're touching stuff that other people have touched. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I like to see it.
Yeah, so to summarize, with Cansec, we're offering a 5-year warranty on our control panels, anything Cansec made. We've got the OOPS warranty as a backup for you guys. One controller does 3 solutions. You're able to upgrade the controller. If you have a map 1, you can go from a 2-door to a 4-door by just buying the provisioning upgrade. You can go from like a first access to a cloud lock with the same controller. As long as you're not increasing the number of doors on it, that's a free thing to do. There's no charge to flash it from, say, a first access to a cloud lock. With cloud lock, there is no contract. It's month to month. And the subscription fee is billed each month. So we don't charge you for the whole year. And you're welcome to charge your customer, do like a contract with them for a year. Whatever you want to do, we let you do. But on our side, it's month to month. We don't lock people in. If somebody's not happy with it, they can move to first access if they want. It just makes them feel more comfortable by going with it. And if they move from one to the other, nothing has to come off the wall. The same controllers can be used. You just flash it with the free firmware. Pay only for the doors you want. We've got the Imperial wireless lock and the Kindu smartphone credential. And here it is. Somebody asked for it. So if you want to test drive any of this stuff, we've got the Cloud Lock website at cloudlock.cansec.com. The demo sign-in, subscriber is Cansec. Username is admin. Password is 123456. If you want to download the First Access software, the First Access Express is a free version. You can just download it right off of our website. It's at cansec.com. When you install it and you launch the software for the first time, you're going to be asked for a username and password. It's admin and admin. And if you want to try Webster, we've hacked it in a way to allow you to access our Webster controller from the internet. You just have to go to webster.cansec.com. Username is admin, password is admin. And keep in mind, Webster is not intended to be accessed through the internet. It's meant to be accessed on your local area network. We've just done it in a way to allow it so that you can try it.
Got one question.
Are there? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you still have training, dealer training at the factory?
So right now, we don't have training at the factory, but we are working on doing web-based training.
Okay, online training, right?
Yes, online training. So for anybody who requires it, all you need to do is contact us and I'll connect you internally with that.
There's one question from Mr. Jensen.
Yes.
He said, can you still get good fish and chips in Canada?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I guess so. As long as I guess it doesn't get soggy by the time you get home, because no restaurant is allowing you to sit inside.
And I don't see any more. Well, let me check. Nothing else has come in. I've answered one. Oh, there's one more. Oh, Stephen.
Really, Travis?
I just added Kevin over here if he wants to.
He could ask.
I'm having a good time over here, man. I mean, you know, this is awesome. Brenton, God bless you. I didn't think anybody was going to touch that, man. Thank you, Brent.
Yeah, I got it. I got you.
Oh, man. How we doing, Johnny?
Yeah, no, we're good. So this is the presentation. I want to thank everybody for their time. If there's any more questions, just my email is jc@cansec.com, or send it to Brent or send it to Kevin. We're all happy and eager to help. So any questions that you have, please don't be shy. Our job is to help you guys with this.
Hey, I've got Steve